This is our 2025 Buying in Japan field report. And first, I want to say thank you all for staying to the last talk of the summit. So I know it's been a really fun weekend so far, and we're really excited to be a part of this, and it's growing. This is our second one, but it feels like it doubled in size since last year, so it's awesome to see. We actually have a free gift for everyone. We have some AkiyaHub employees in the back of the room that if you go talk to them, they'll hand out one of these free gifts to you. It's more than a bike, worth more than a bike, but less than a car, so you're definitely gonna wanna get one. Who are we? We are AkiyaHub. My name is Brett Lee, CEO, co-founder of AkiyaHub with Matsuo, my other co-founder. Why are we here? We are here to help people who love Japan get safe, easy, trusted access to Japanese real estate opportunities. AkiyaHub is a community of over 13,000 members now, and yes, we're only 9 months old, so it's been some pretty meteoric growth. And we have a network of over 200 real estate brokerages, renovation companies, and property managers that is expanding every week. The more that we go into communities, help people buy, find, and renovate houses. We are not a real estate agency though, so that's a really important note. And our goal is not to sell you a house. Our hope is that if we reach enough people who really love Japan, and if we can foster a strong enough community, that we can harness the market forces of supply and demand, and that in 10 or 20 years, many areas and thousands of houses that would otherwise be abandoned will still be with us. And if we played a small part in making that happen, we succeeded. And it's really important to note, this is something we were just looking at. Every time we sell a house, it's not just one person buying one house. It's one person buying a house, but then that helps the judicial scrivener. The money kind of flows throughout to many different partners. It's more than just the real estate side of the business. It's actually helping the community all the way down to the local restaurants, the electricians, the big camera employee who sells you your air conditions for your house, the movers that help you move everything. It's a true ripple effect into a community. So even just 1, 2, or even 3 properties can really impact a local area, regardless of if it's a rural area or even in cities. Or we sell a lot of houses in Yokohama. It's very developed, but it still helps these little areas that you might have never even heard of. So how's it going? Our team already has helped hundreds of people find and become homeowners in Japan. We've scaled our team to 12 members, 12 employees in 8 months. And we're not done yet. We are hiring. So if anyone is that lives in Japan is interested in working with us, go to akiyahub.com/careers. Let's get into the field report. So I love data and Shu loves stories. So you're gonna get both. Part 1, I'll just go through a bunch of the numbers. It's really boring, but hopefully you'll be intrigued by it a bit. And part 2, Shu's gonna share some awesome stories about 2 properties that he personally purchased in kind of a crazy way on both of them. So I really love the stories. I got to see it happen in real time. Big disclaimer though. So it's data. And this data has a disclaimer, just like all data should. If anyone's giving you data without a disclaimer, it's probably not good data. This comes from our 13,000 members and 200 partners. So you can interpret this data however you like, but this is how we interpret the data because it's the data that we use to run our business. It's the situation on the ground as we see it, and we make our decisions based on this data. So it doesn't come from the internet. It's not something that's like scraped and AI generated. We've compiled this information ourselves, thousands of hours into 2025, and it's literally like the information we're using to make all of our decisions for 2026 business. The last summit, again, we announced that we officially launched on February 10th of this year, and we had just missed actually the 3,500 member milestone. We were at like 35,998 or something. We were like 2 members short. And in the past 4 months since the last summit, we've grown by 10,000 and hit the 13,000. I think today we're almost at 14,000. It's going up very fast. We'll definitely be on track for 20,000 members by the end of the year. So our community comes into the market, and this is part of the disclaimer, with certain goals and ideas, and the data reflects that. But I think it's really interesting because many of you, and I think there are quite a few AkiyaHub members here, share their same goals and ideas. So I think this data will be really important for you. But it's not inclusive to the entire market. It's just as we see it. So data point number 1, what type of properties are people looking for? So we've broken it up into 4 categories. And this, at the time that I pulled this data, so you can run all the numbers if you want, it was 13,371 members. So 32% of people are looking for vacation houses. 29% are looking for a primary residence, so they actually plan to move to Japan, not just stay here temporarily. 26% are looking purely for investment potential. And then 13% of people kind of undecided. They don't know. We got to carry them over the bridge of unawareness into what it is that they're actually looking for. Data point number 2. What's the number one concern that people have when buying a home in Japan? Does anyone have any ideas? Emil, what do you think it is? I can tell you, number 2 is not knowing Japanese. That's number 2. Number 1 is hidden cost. Everyone comes in going, oh, there must be some crazy hidden costs. And you're right, like there are sometimes. So that was one of the very first things we set out to fix on our platform and for the community is how can we add more transparency to real estate transactions here in Japan for foreigners? You know, in Japan, it is transparent if you speak Japanese and understand the process and know all the things going in and out. But as a foreigner, you just don't have the same transparency. It's a little bit more opaque. So the first thing we did was we built 2 things. One was a full estimated price calculator. You put in how much the property is. We'll show you every single little fee that we know of, and it's variable. So like if your particular judicial scrivener charges a little bit more money, you can adjust that. But this was a really, really helpful tool for a lot of people to just understand, hey, it's not just the 10 million yen house you see on Instagram. It's also all these other fees and services and things that are involved. However, I learned the hard way that there's this old thing about you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make people drink. So people still just want an easy button. So we built a second thing. Just give us one number. Well, what's your budget? And we'll back into what can you actually afford? And this has been way, way, way more helpful because most people are just like, I have this much in my bank account and I want to buy a house. Cool. Well, you can't spend just that much and get the house. You're going to need to spend a little less than that and add all these fees. So one simple input and you'll know exactly how much you can afford. But we didn't stop there. We actually make it super easy because when you're looking at a property on our platform, we just put a big button here. So you just press it. You've already saved what your budget is. So every single property, you can view the full calculation so that you don't have to guess and worry about what the real prices may be. This is an example of our property feed where you kind of like dating apps like Tinder, you look at one property at a time and you say, I like it or I don't like it. And then it recommends more properties for you. We also have it in our quick search, which is one of our features where if you just want to get an assessment of an area, you have a budget, you have a couple different variables, size of the house, age, you can look at a bunch of properties that it's already preset for that affordability number that you've put in. And then we also have in our map search, and you can have all of the predefined filters will all go based off of your affordability and what you have here. This is actually a new feature that we just rolled out that is the property radar. So instead of just looking at thousands of houses and areas that you probably don't even know what this area is, you can use a whole bunch of different scoring algorithms and even custom ones yourself so that you can see what the good deals and opportunities may be based on your personal preferences. Maybe you like the property, you're fine with an older property, but you really care about the price, or maybe you care about the size and the age more than you do the price. You can adjust that and get color-coded view of what those properties are in the area that you're interested in. Data point number 3. What price point attracts people to the market? And I think this will be interesting for a lot of people in the room because it's what is their budget? What does the number say of our 13,000 members? What are they bringing? So budgets are very interesting. I have a couple different ways to show it. So the bottom 10% of people, under $20,000, a little bit more unrealistic, probably not going to get into the market without a lot of headaches. And you should be incredibly committed to Japan if you're going to try to find a house at that price. The top of the market, anything over 300,000, that's like the top 10% of people are looking for 300,000. But the majority of people come in this 92 to 200 range. And the sweet spot that we found, that were the best outcomes, where people are the absolute happiest with their decisions, is between 92 and 128,000. That is the absolute sweet spot where they're buying houses that are not falling apart. They might need light renovations. They want it for a vacation house. They want it for an investment property. That's the sweet spot. But there are these 2 other ranges of budgets that we see. The red part here in the middle is the I have enough money to get something pretty good, but I have analysis paralysis because now there's so many things possible that I can't make a decision. And now the expectations are kind of misaligned because they've worked their budget up the ladder of, okay, this house is 120,000, but if I just spend 10 more, I can get this. And if I just spend 10 more, I can get that. And they kind of get stuck in that. And in the investment range, the green area here, this is the best for people that are looking to actually invest, not just live here, not just have a vacation home, but they want to get properties that are maybe long-term rentals with high yields, where you come into the market with 200 to 300,000, you can get 1, 2, maybe even 3, if you're lucky, properties that are just for investment. But if you come below that, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult unless you just want to try it out with one property. Data point number 4, the buyers themselves. And this is where it gets pretty fun. So we have data from 6 months before to look at compared to today. One of the interesting things is the budgets have gone up in the past 6 months. People are coming into the market with about 12% more money that they want to spend in Japan. Now that's either they're just saving more and it's just naturally happening, or prices are going up and they know that and they expect it. Sentiment is way, way up. People are really happy about the opportunities and the potential, and really there's less dreamers and more people that are trying to take action and actually want to buy. And I think a big part of that is just education, building the unaware people, taking them up the ladder from unaware to educated to motivated, and then actually taking action. This is kind of what we've designed our platform around, and it's helped a lot of people so far, and I think it's going to help a lot more because they're more prepared. So they're actually right now seeking guidance more than they are just asking, can I buy a house in Japan? We don't really get as many of those people anymore. And they want to be more hands-on. They don't want to just buy a house in Japan. They want to know what's going on. How does this work? What are the steps in the process? Instead of a lot of our clients before were just do it. Just buy me just take care of it for me. So I think that's really good for everyone and for the market because it's going to add a lot more to the whole experience, and people are going to be more aware and people are going to do things the right way. So how do we meet the community where they're at with that shift in what they're actually looking for? They want a little bit more hands-on guidance, but they don't speak Japanese and they don't have all of the tools pretty much to be able to do that themselves. So previously, again, we did 100% done for you services. We'll just do absolutely everything and you just pay us a fee. But we've actually shifted now to offer a kind of pay as you go system because we broke everything down into these key milestones, and we put a lot of tools together so that you can kind of control the flow and take over the buying process, but have us do all the actual hard working and heavy lifting, and put even more partnerships in place to support this so that you can go through our new Your Journey program. And we've actually broken it up into 10 steps so that you have a nice video from Shu explaining every single thing that's going to happen, what your goals are, what you're going to see, what needs to be done. And then each step you unlock by completing the tasks and goals that we've set for you. Step 1 is searching. So once you've found enough properties and you scored them with our scoring system high enough, you can unlock and go to the next step. And this carries all the way through closing, where you can see when your scheduled closing day was, if all the paperwork has been signed, pretty much a full end-to-end service that you still drive and set the pace and how you want to consume that. So that's the Your Journey program. So far, since we launched it, 453 people have gone through this journey program to make things more accessible and transparent. And really, we think it's the best way right now for people to go from educated all the way through taking action and actually buying a house. So if you're serious, that's a pretty good program for that. Data point number 5, and we're still talking about the buyers. So what are their timelines? So it's really interesting that most people, 29% of people, want to buy right now. They're coming completely ready to purchase a house. 25% of people are about 6 months. They know they want to. They're still putting things together. 22% of people, 3 months. And then 16% of people, 1 year. They're the big planners. And 5% greater than 1 year on them. So one of the things that has been interesting to see is as we've been adding more support and growing our team and meeting more partners, the actual time for searching to keys in hand has been less than 90 days. That's like part of our major marketing now. It's like, it's very rare that it is more than 90 days. A lot of our clients, 35, 40 days, which is really fast for real estate transactions anywhere. But I think it's another good sign that Japan's like opening up and understanding the process more, and they're more willing to work with us a lot, which has been great to see. So what we can do with a lot of the data that we have about timelines, though, is we can have an outlook based on the 13,000 members we have. When do they actually want to own a home in Japan? So this is the Q4 and 2026 Q2 outlook of when we think people are going to be closing on all of their houses. So there are actually some dips here, which if you're an investor, these are actually really good buying times because they're going to be less pressure in the market. Properties might sit for a little bit longer on the market, so you can go in and maybe snap up a couple of them whenever there's less buying demand. Now that's all of the data for this talk, but we do have a few more things that we want to talk about. Many members have asked us about multifamily investing, and we know what we don't know. And we recently started doing some multifamily deals when we had savvy investors that already know about multifamily investing come in, and they just needed help with the real estate journey. But they could run their own numbers. They just needed help with the process. We're not experts, but we are launching an AkiyaHub Experts program, and our very first expert is none other than Ziv. Yeah. So Ziv is going to be providing a multifamily accelerator for everyone so that you can work one-on-one with Ziv, and it starts with some awesome content that you and Ziv just finished shooting, which is fun, to give you all the basics so you can understand everything in a nice video. So when you get to have your meeting with Ziv, you already know all the basics and you can get into the meat of it. And the output of that is going to be a personalized snapshot of 3 properties, multifamily, that look similar to what you want, that were already sold recently, and then 3 properties that are currently on the market that are opportunities that you can get into, personalized for you and what you're trying to do. Yeah, but they're not going to stay long, so you got a couple days maybe. But this is our first expert. We'll have a couple more we'll announce and hopefully upcoming summits, but I'm really excited about it. Excited to be working with Ziv more, and I'm excited for multifamily because there is a lot of demand for that, and I think it's going to be great. Now this is a fun part of the presentation. I just called it the Dream Crusher because there's a couple things that we just keep seeing over and over and over when it comes to everyone coming into our platform. One of the most common goals, dreams, ideas, whatever you want to call it, that people come to us with is, can I buy a cheap house and put it on Airbnb while I'm not there? That's the number one thing. Does anyone want to do that? Because I'm going to crush your dream right now, Tracy. It's done. Yeah. So STR is hard, and short-term rental, Airbnb, booking, whatever you wanted to use. It's hard anywhere. And it's 10 times harder in Japan, as I'm sure you've heard from the other speakers during this summit. If you didn't know, it's actually a hospitality business. It's not a passive income source. You don't just buy a property, put it on Airbnb and collect a check. It's a full, and especially in Japan, it is a true hospitality business. You need to manage and run those properties. And if you don't do it yourself, it's, or if you don't have a partner that can do it for you, it's a nightmare. So I really think that, the rules and regulations are growing. They might not be stopping everything, but they're just adding more and more barriers to it. And whether it's true or perceived, the cultural impact of short-term is on people's minds. People are talking about it. It's in the news. You've seen some of the political stuff going on. It's a thing. So what do you do if you do want an investment property, but you also want to use it yourself? What are the options? So right now, if you don't have an expert like Tracy or Chai helping you navigate the whole landscape of short-term rentals, you're going to fail. Like, that's pretty much it. You don't have any other options because it's just not feasible. If you have a vacation home, then you've already purchased that, great. But if you want to cover the cost of ownership and when the probably 6 months, let's be honest, maybe 9 months that you're not using it, what do you do? Maybe for that particular property that you bought and you weren't thinking about Airbnb, it's actually not even legal to put it on Airbnb. There's a lot of regulations around that. Or you can't get a Minpaku license for the specific property for any other reason. They just reject it, even if, when you bought it, they said you could. And then when you go through all the paperwork, they go, actually, no, you can't. They do that sometimes. So today, you have no options. And this is another just kind of one of these dreamers that we see is, I love Japan, but I've never even been. But sell me a house. It's like, we don't sell houses. We don't want to sell you a house. You've never even been to Japan. Or I visited once for 3 days and now I want to buy a house. Okay, we get a lot of that. And it's really important to note that vacationing is not living in Japan. It's a completely different experience and most people won't tell you that. So we have 13,000 members, but we have 10 times that amount of people reach out to us about trying to buy a house in Japan. It's ridiculous. Like part of the reason why we have the platform set up the way it does is just to filter out a lot of those people that probably shouldn't be doing it yet. And they're not really prepared to buy a house, but they want to. So what can we do? We looked at these two problems of you have a vacation home, you have you just want something to have a little passive income, but you want to use it. And we thought about the people that really haven't been to Japan, haven't spent enough time here, but they are truly interested and they want to buy a house. And we said, wouldn't it be great if people could try before they buy a house? Like it's a little less risky. You can actually experience, really understand if you want to do that or not. And wait a second, don't tons of people in our community already have vacation homes that they want to STR, but they can't do that? And isn't there a lot of people who need to try living in Japan? Wait a second. What if somebody built a marketplace for everything that facilitated top to bottom legally what you need to do in order to have your vacation homes be something that someone could try before they buy? Owners can list and manage their properties. Guests get to access and manage that experience through a platform, and it has full support for both sides. But what if that existed? Also, what if those properties weren't just any vacation homes? They were properties and vacation homes that had to go and set a certain level of quality. They had to go through some standards for those properties. And there was some sort of curation process to ensure the properties are not just like base level properties, but they're good certified vacation homes that you can try before you buy. And what if, your first week there wasn't you just trying to figure out like how to even find the property, what's around, but what if everything in the property had little QR codes on it and videos shot from the AC remote all the way to the front door to tell you where the closest ramen shop is, or what if that existed? That would be great, right? We thought so too. So we kickstarted that as a new mission to help as many people truly live like a local in Japan and try before they buy. And to do that, we've brought in ourselves, Kintsugi Group, who is actually the owner of AkiyaHub. We brought in Shiki Properties with Chai and Tokyo Family Stays with Tracy. And we're launching a new platform soon. But first, we're going to give access to our members to a try before you buy program, where you have exclusive access to monthly rentals, because you can do monthly rentals all you want. There's no laws or regulations. There's nothing stopping it. It's the same as a long-term rental. It's just 1 month or more. And early next year, we'll launch the full service. And here's a little sneak peek of that service where you can live like a local from day one. And there's only a select few properties so far. So if you're interested in that, I would go and try to book those properties as soon as possible because they will fill up really fast. And now, Shumatsu Post. Your mic up. Yep.
All right, and then look this one. Okay. How's everyone doing? Good. All right, so I think this is going to be the last talk in this room today. So thank you for staying until the very end. I try to make this one as interesting as possible. So I have 2 promises for you in this talk. So the first one is I will share the information that I haven't shared publicly. So you're the first, although we're recording it and I'm going to publish it on YouTube in maybe 2 weeks, but you're the first ones to see this. I want to be as transparent as possible, like Brett said earlier. And second, this is my field report. So I cannot guarantee if you're going to get the exact same results if you try the same. Hopefully you will get something similar or better, but this is my field report, so keep that in mind. With that said, let's get started. So what is the number one concern that people have when buying a home in Japan? Do you remember this slide? Yeah? Okay. So it's not knowing Japanese, number two, but number one is hidden costs. Okay. So I'm going to give you very, very specific examples, two examples of the cost, everything that costs me so that you have it. Okay. Oh, so I'll show you all the costs. So I call this field report from 2 case studies that I did. So last year, for those who have consumed my content, maybe you know that I had a goal last year to purchase 5 Akiya houses, and I achieved it. For the most part, I actually closed one of them, the last one in January, but I was under contract. And this year, I really wanted to focus on building AkiyaHub. So I didn't really have like growing a portfolio goal per se, but I accidentally bought 2 houses. So those are the 2 case studies, and I'm going to explain why accidents. Okay. And the previous ones, I focused on off-market listings. So very fortunately, because of the network that I built, I know people who have access to off-market listings, specifically in this area, Greater Tokyo. So I was very attracted to those. So I purchased a few of those properties, but the 2 that I'm going to talk about were on the market. So they were publicly available, and I made these deals work as much as possible. Okay, so the case study number 1 is high risk, high reward, and high cost. And you might be wondering, like, why did you do that? Like, that doesn't sound very good. Well, I did it so that maybe you don't have to, right? I'll tell you what I learned, and I'm going to explain why these 3, okay? So this is a house in Nakaku of Yokohama. 7-minute walk from one of the JR Negishi line stations, and good location. I thought it's very hilly around that area, but I live very close to it, and I knew this is a good location. And I found this property for a client, actually, at the time, and I recommended it because they were looking for something in this area specifically. And I think it was listed at 16.5 million. But it was too much for them, and it needed a lot of work. I'm going to show you the pictures. But fast forward a few months, it was still on the market at 12 million, and I was like, okay, 12 million yen for this location, that's not bad. And eventually, I negotiated it down to 10 million. So I was like, okay, I have to buy it. Like this, I wasn't going to, but that's a good price. So I decided to buy it. So I didn't mean to buy it at the time, but it just kind of, happened, and I happened to have the capital. So I decided to move forward with it. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but after thinking about it, I was like, okay, I'm going to try something very, very different. And this is very risky, high risk, but if it works out, it could be a very high reward. And that really got me excited. And worst case, it'll be good content, right? Yeah, so I filmed. You might have seen this episode. I published it, I think, a month and a half ago or so. So why did I buy it? Yeah, so I had a few reasons. It was close to me, so I could come here very often, and I knew the area, so I had confidence that it was going to work out. But I wasn't sure if it was going to work out the way I wanted it to be, because it was a very different way. Okay. And the 2 main things that I want to discuss is actually good location, so I mentioned that, and the seller was extremely motivated. Okay. So I was able to get 10 million. I thought they were going to say no, and I was going to walk away. And then they came down. They really wanted to sell it. The seller's agent kept calling me back like, hey, can you actually buy this? They couldn't find the buyer. So I was like, okay, I could do it with this. And then they agreed. So I moved forward. This is what it looked like on the inside. So might not look too bad, very typical Akiya. It was abandoned. It had been abandoned, or no one was living in there for 7 years. Still stuff left behind. So the the owners passed away, the couple, and then their son inherited it, and he didn't want to do anything to do with it. He just wanted to get rid of it. So I was like, okay, it's fine. And yeah, so like squatting toilet, water leak in the bathroom, bunch of tatami rooms, and I decided to completely gut it and do a full renovation. And my goal was to rent it out to a corporate rental. And I knew, okay, I'm going to share actually, to an international school, because my spouse actually works for an international school, so I know how things work. And I was targeting very selected families, because I wanted to target a family of 4, okay, because that's how you get the most rent for this specific school. I don't know if this works out for every international school in Japan, but I was targeting a family of 4 so they could afford the rent, and I budgeted based on that. And I was like, okay, I calculated it. All right, I can make it work. Let's do a gut job, and let's add additional bathroom. So this house has 1 full bathroom downstairs and 1 shower room, so 2 toilets, which is quite rare in Japan. So I wanted to target very, very specific family. And this is how it turned out. I did the exterior work. Why did I choose green? I painted the last house in navy, so I wanted something different, something I've never done. I thought it was cool, but yeah, this is how it turned out. But I was very happy with the inside, so it's completely different. Some people say like, why did you turn that into like a completely Western style? I did leave some Japanese feel to it. This actually, I should have added another picture to showcase, but there is one area that looks quite Japanese, but rest of it, I wanted to attract a foreign family for this. 2 showers, who would appreciate like a more spacious living, dining, and kitchen area, and two bathroom space. Okay. And before I get into this, I'm going to share why it was very risky. So I was targeting very specific families, right? At the time, I thought it made sense, but the more I thought about it, it got riskier and riskier. Okay, so for those, if you're familiar with international schools in Japan, so they get new teachers, right? New families coming in every year. And immediately they start looking for houses. So there is a very limited time of a window. And I was told by a property manager, I only had 2 days, August 1st and August 2nd. And if you miss that window, you might not get a chance. So you might have to rent it a local tenant. So I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was gonna have like a whole month. And this is like during the renovations, right? So I was like, okay. And how many families are flying in this year? So 15 families, but only 5 had family of 4. So like, okay, if those families don't work out, maybe I can rent it out to a couple, and maybe a family of 3, but maximum like 8 families out of all the potentials, right? The people that are looking for a home. Because if I rent it to someone local or like a market, the rent would be significantly lower, and I didn't want to do that. So because this is how much I spent. This is everything I spent. Okay, so total, you can read everything. So purchase price was 10 million. It's like, okay, that's quite cheap, 69 grand. But look, all the fees that are associated with it, right? I mean, obviously the renovations, 17.9 million yen. Okay, so that's quite a bit. Total 30 million. So that was way more than what I wanted to spend, but I just did it. I wanted to make it as good as possible. So I took the risk and see what happened. I found a tenant. So I actually filmed, these people, they were happy to be filmed. And this is how much I got to charge them. But technically, it's actually their employer that's paying. So they're not the literal tenant, but they're the family that are staying. And this is what I got to charge. So gross yield is 10.3%. I think the cash flow is going to be anywhere between 7 and 9%. I'm pretty happy with it now looking back, but would I do the same, knowing this is what I'm going to get? Or would I just invest that much money into index funds? You can answer that question for yourselves. So that's what I got. So the second case study, I was just told I only got 5 minutes, so I'm going to go quickly. So another high risk, and this one is mid to low reward. Okay. So I bought this house in Saitama, Fukaya, Saitama, very north of Saitama. Good looking house with a car park. This is the view from the second floor. And again, I didn't mean to buy this house. And why did I buy it? We had a member who was actually supposed to buy this. They got a really good deal and moved forward. Very last minute, found out they weren't able to transfer the money internationally. Their accounts got seized in the country, so they couldn't move forward. But I had an agent, or a partner agent, bend over backwards to make this deal happen. And I could have easily said, sorry, like we can't move forward. But they invested so much energy and time and relationship capital with their network. And I felt really bad. And if I said no, I knew I was going to damage the relationship with this partner agent. So what did I do? I bought it. So this is what it looked like. It was a half-finished renovation. And this is how it turned out. I spent more money than I wanted to, but it looks very nice. Oops. And this is exactly how much I spent. The purchase price was pretty good, a good deal, $3.5 million, $24,000. But the total is $8.8 million. So quite a bit on the renovations. There were quite a few issues that I didn't even know that I had because I wasn't going to buy. So I realized after the closing. And expected rent is 70,000 yen per month. So gross yield, again, less than 10%. And previously, I usually go after double digit, over 10, 11, 12%. Cash flow is this. Again, I could have done better, probably. But what did I learn? The first, from the one that I just talked about. So we learned a lot from this transaction. So this will not happen within AkiyaHub community anymore. So we have a lot more rigorous process for vetting the people that we work with. So that won't happen again. So that's the number one thing. And also, there are quite a few, two things that I learned. So you need to know why you're doing it. So if you're interested in buying, Akiya or real estate in Japan, you got to know why. Obviously, it's interesting, it's exciting. Maybe it's the right opportunity for you. For me, I explained the reasons why, but I wanted to learn the high risk case studies. So for me, that was I learned so that I could actually learn the process and also build relationships with people that were involved in these deals. So that I could use that relational capital to the next deal. Or maybe I got experience working with certain people that I never had before, so that we can try on a different project or recommend people to work with them. So that was a really big thing for me. So I took away quite a bit. Another thing that I learned is you make money in real estate when you buy. So you probably all know this. This is the most, I would say it's one of the most important things in real estate. If you buy right, real estate is investing is very generous, right? You could screw up, spend more money than you planned, like I did, and still come out okay, right? So how do you buy right? So there are on-market and off-market listings, right? If you want to buy right, you can still make it happen with on-market listings, but it's a lot easier, in my opinion, my experience, it's a lot easier to do it with off-market listings because there are so many more motivated sellers, or the properties are more distressed. You have access to it before a lot of people do. And we do have access to those listings as well. So, that's one of the best ways to buy right, in my opinion. But also, working with people who've done it, who are experienced in negotiation or who have access to the relationships that we might not have. So that's something that I recommend as well. Anyway, so in 2026, I'm going to make a goal to purchase more properties and build my portfolio, but in different markets. I specifically focused on Yokohama in 2024. This year, I bought one in Saitama, so that's my first one outside of Yokohama. And in 2026, I'm going to go outside of Greater Tokyo. So stay tuned which markets that's going to be, and I'm very excited to expand my portfolio, but also help our members expand into those areas.
And a multifamily home too, right?
And multifamily, yes. Single family, multifamily, yes. Thank you.